That's it. That is it. Yeah, it ain't even an interview. It's just a conversation.
Look
It's
at that
fun.
mirroring.
It's fun. It's fun, P. We vibe though, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That is so funny. As I've gotten into music, people calling me P. I think that is so funny. That and people will be like, people who are older than me will be like, oh, Pear. And I'll be like, Pear? Only my family calls me Pear.
Oh, people actually call you Pear,
Yeah.
like.
That's what my dad calls me.
Oh.
My dad and his side of the family, they call me Pear.
Pear. That's
Little
cute. Pear
Pear.
Bear.
Oh,
Or just Pear?
Just Pear. Just
Okay.
Pear. Not the bear.
It's funny, everybody always like you go by Sam or Samuel, and I'm like the only people that call me Samuel is my mom and my grandma, and then my sisters call me Sammy. I don't let nobody else call me Sammy.
Aw, that's probably the name you got when you was like in elementary, middle school. They called you Sammy.
I don't like Sammy.
Yo, I got a lot of living to do before I die. I ain't got time to waste. Time don't wait. Everything costs. Time been money. I don't fool with homie. Slime been funny. I don't do no jokes unless I'm the one telling them. Y'all nasty like 69. Y'all boys telling. Stay away from goofies. This is not a movie. Avoiding loopholes from U-Haul, you don't move.
All right. Peace, big love, big blessings, even bigger living, everything that come with it and everything in between. You are tuned in to Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. It's just a conversation. If you choose to engage, and you can see if you're watching, if you're listening, you can't see it obviously, but if you're watching, you can definitely see I have a special guest today. But as always, before I get to the special guest, I got to do some quick housekeeping. I got to give a major shout out to our location sponsor, Mulberry Art Gallery here in Wichita, Kansas. If you're in the area, pull up, check out some dope artwork. Major shout out to producer Gabe Booker, GBC Visuals, keeping everything on point and tight, keeping me honest, because sometimes I might go off the hinges. I got to give a major shout out to my apparel sponsor today, man. One For Us Clothing, located here in Wichita, Kansas, representing the 14th Amendment. Shout out to One For Us. And y'all know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment, share. YouTube, Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. Spotify, and everywhere you listen to your podcast, Thinking Out Loud with Samuel David. Social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Thinking Out Loud Convo. Making sure I hit it all. I hit it all. That's it. That's where we at with it. Now, I got to give a special introduction to a great friend of mine, a music collaborator. We've done some acting together as well.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
This woman is an artist, a creative at the maximum level, a podcast host, a curator of art, a musician. She says she makes music, creates art, and lives life. Today I have my amazing friend,
That's cute.
Miss Paris Jane. What is up, P?
Hello.
What is up? So I always lead with this first question.
Okay.
And this is how I know where the conversation is going. Because it's
Okay.
just a conversation. We just thinking out
know.
loud. Just know that, right?
Okay.
How's your spirit?
Ooh, that's a good question. Right now, my spirit, I'm gonna say something real like hippie sounding, but my spirit is very gold. Like very golden. Feeling good, feeling excited. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but you know, like when you feel like yourself and you feel like wherever you're going is probably where you need to be, and you don't have to like work really hard to orchestrate that.
Yeah.
Like you can feel it just kind of like, almost like magnets, just like stacking. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Keep going. I like
Super
that. I like
artsy.
that. I like that gold. It sounds like you are in alignment.
Yes. I feel like, it's been a long, here we go already.
Let's go
It's
there.
been a
Let's
long
go
period
there.
of me being, or feeling like I'm not in alignment, or like kind of trying to find my way back to where my path.
Okay.
So like one of the songs I used to listen to so much and I would feel it, but I would be mad that I felt it. Is "Love Yours" by J. Cole, because he said the good news is, do people be cussing? I don't cuss.
I cuss my ass off.
Okay,
Yeah,
but the good news is, nigga, you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way. Like that felt like the story of my life.
Thought being broke was better.
Yes. I was still not affluent. I was still broke, but it felt like I was like going really far in the wrong direction.
Wow.
And not in a negative way. Like I was making a lot of strides. I was doing a lot of things that nobody in my family had done. But it just felt like I was going the wrong way.
So you say you felt like you were going the wrong way, but you were like, I'm sure people around you were proud, especially say you're doing things people in your family hadn't done.
Yeah.
Was it your path you were taking?
No.
Okay.
No. And it took time and money for me to realize that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then one of my best friend Monique, shout out to Monique. She's actually, anyway, she keeps on saying recently, she'll be like, take 2 for your mistake. So like we were playing Uno, and one of her friends was like, draw 2 for your mistake. And that's what it, like, life will show you. If you keep piling on mistakes, you're going to have to like take 2 more, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 2 semesters, whether it's $200, whether it's $2,000, whether it's $10,000.
Word.
You're gonna have to like pay something for your mistake, and a lot of times for us, that's time.
And you can't get back. You can't get time back. One of my favorite quotes is "Measure twice and cut once." Right, but we don't always measure twice.
We don't. I'm the kind of person that's like, just cut it.
Go.
Just cut it.
Just go. I'm feeling good. It looks good.
Just cut it.
And then
now
you're trying to put pieces back together.
You gotta learn how to sew and put something back together. Yep.
That's a word. So let's talk a little bit about going down that wrong path, because I like where you're going with that. So you are the daughter of a state senator, right?
I am. I knew it was coming.
You knew that was coming?
Yeah.
See, I don't even have a long list of questions. I'm just thinking out loud.
Oh no, that's fine.
So you talk kind of, doing dope things, regardless, right? But doing them for other people. Is there a level of pressure that comes with being the daughter of a state senator? And your mom is like vocal on Facebook too. Like
she's vocal in life.
In life in general. Okay, that's word. That's word. Yes,
that's one of the things I admire about my mother. She's very much who she is wherever she is. It doesn't matter if she's at the grocery store, if she's like, she met President Obama one time and he like was shaking her hand, and like, of course you're moving through a crowd and he's like shaking her hand and looking at somebody else, and she says, I want eye contact. So she's who she is all the time.
Word.
I know for me, there have been 2 expectations that have always been heavy with that. Number one is that, we're gonna start with the easy one first. Number one is that she's a small lady and has a huge personality, and is, like very, when she walks into a room, you can hear her, Me, I'm not that. And I think that sometimes people expect me to one day be that. Okay. And I don't think I'll ever be that. I think I'll always just be the kind of, like, I'll come out and show myself more. That's something that I've been like very protective of. Because if your parent does do something that's in the public eye, there is scrutiny. There are so many people who know you that you don't know. Word. And it's not a comfortable space to always be in. So, I don't know. You try to figure out how to express yourself without stepping on anybody's shoes or ideas or whatever. Yeah. And
it's funny you say that. I was looking at I like Black Twitter on Reddit, right? And I was looking at one of the tweets was, I don't remember which daughter it was, but one of Michelle Obama's daughters smoking cigarettes. It's like 4 pictures of them. It was like, Michelle told us to not do drugs and to eat right. Look at her daughter smoking cigarettes. Look. Right. So what you was, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but that just made me think of that, because that's a real thing.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's super real. So yeah, number one, people expecting me to be my mom. I'm not gonna be my mom. My mom's like very diplomatic and like listen, and I'm the kind of person that I'm liable to crack a joke, or I might just like take a step back or whatever, but you know, I'm usually just observing. That, and what's the other one? I think it's there's a weird like juxtaposition between what people think that I am,
Okay.
and what I, or not even that, how people think that like I might live or be or experience life, and how I actually have. Like, if your mom's a senator and you're like getting on the school bus and the kids are like, "Oh, y'all got money," you be like, "No, we have public assistance." Like,
Word.
we don't. I grew up near 9th and Grove, and then moved over to 17th and Oliver. What was that? Yeah, 17th and Oliver. So like, I grew up with everybody, like in my neighborhood and the people who I know, but I was never like a part of that. So it's like trying to redefine myself so that I'm not just like in this void. Okay. Is definitely a thing, but ooh, I digress.
No, that's what we do here. We just think out loud, and wherever it goes, it goes. I'm a long thinker.
Yeah,
long talker.
Same.
You feel me? I like to give a lot of context, so I don't sound wild. It's interesting you talk about that juxtaposition, kind of playing in that, and even speaking on, you know, recognizing who you are and that balance. So I like to do a little bit of research before I interview. Not a lot, but a little bit, right? So
Well,
I know what I'm getting myself into.
You probably ain't found hardly nothing. Maybe.
I find some good stuff, right? Interesting people. Like, you are artist, you creative, you out there. But I seen your recap of 2022, right? And you were just mentioning, like, you know, finding that space to fully be you.
Yeah.
To no longer be a supporting cast member, to be the main character in your story. How did you get there? How did you, give me a little background of how you feel like you've been prior to compared to where you headed, or the epiphany you've had?
Oh, that's a good, man. So, interestingly enough, I think that what was it? It was like January 2017 or something. I had like challenged myself to do like a 30 days fearless challenge. Nobody knows what that is except for me.
A what challenge? What you say?
30 days fearless, right?
Fearless, okay.
I wanted to do something every day that was like anxiety or fear inducing for me. And so I was living in Austin, Texas at the time. I had just dropped out of grad school. I was in Florida at Florida State University, and I was getting a degree in art therapy. That's the whole, like, you came a long way, but you went the wrong way. Yeah. I was going all the way the wrong way. So, and then I ended up quitting grad school, and I had been so afraid to share my story because at the time I was not in the best place mentally. Like, I wasn't in the best headspace. But I wanted to share what I was experiencing. And so I started making posts every day. I think I got to like day 14. And one of my friends was like cheering me on. He actually wrote some songs we used to write songs together in Texas. And he was like, "You got it, P." He was one of the first people to call me P too. Anyway, but he was like, "You got it, P, like keep going." And I remember I had like recorded this video of like why I wanted to stop the challenge, and I sent it to him and I'm like, "I'm gonna post this today." And in the video I like was crying. I was like, "I don't think I can do this." Like, you know, like, I don't know. At that point I just didn't believe in myself. And he was like, "No, don't post that. But like keep going." And I ended up stopping. And from there, I kind of just like, I stopped that, moved back to Wichita like 2 months later in 2017? No, 2018. Moved back to Wichita 2018. And then, I don't know, I just kind of fell into like easily being in other people's art projects, helping build up other people's things, like even like Mulberry. Like I met Anthony when him and his wife first moved back to Wichita.
Word.
And they had like just had like a little booth set up at Dunbar Theater for something. And he was like, I have this idea. And I was like, I can help. And so he came up with the concept for Mulberry. We, wrote some of the stuff, and like I curated the first show. But nobody knows. Nobody knows that. And a lot of the things that I do are very much so like, okay, we're going to put this out. You're going to use this for whatever. And I'm going to just be at the house.
Word.
I'm going to be at the house chilling. But I think I'm selling myself short by doing that because I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things to say, whether it's musically, whether it's art-wise. And I can't allow myself to be afraid of whether or not somebody sees it as like too somber or sad or too emotional or whatever, So,
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's real. Because as an artist, right, you create or you write or you paint from the most truest place.
Right.
And we were just talking off camera, right, about how I notice most artists are either extremely extroverted or extremely introverted. And you come off introverted.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You kind of chill, you reserve, but your work is dope and it's loud, right? But it's yours and it's from a real space, right?
Yeah.
Why were you worried about, why you give a shit what people got to think?
Because I'm introverted. Because I'm introvert. I don't know. I've always been different. And a bunch of people can say that. Most people who make artwork are probably, we're all different from each other. So it's not something like novel to be like, oh, I've been so different from everybody.
Yeah.
But for real, like in the way that like even when I was a kid, I was very like wise beyond my years. And so talking with other kids and stuff in my grade was always hard because it was just like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
Word.
Like, I do not care about that. I don't have any interest in what y'all talking about, but I want to be a part of it. And so I guess it's always just like that deep-seated kind of anxiety about whether or not I'll be accepted or whether or not I'll still just kind of be on the outskirts of everything all the time.
That's a real feeling. As a creative, I've had that feeling. Like I've never created, I won't say I never, I've created a while ago to please others. Like somebody would be like, oh, that's dope. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I gotta do that more.
I gotta keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What took you away from that, right? To finally be like, okay, you know what? Because that's not to finally land in a space to be selfish. I think that people feel like being selfish is a bad thing. Everybody deserves to be selfish. I think. I like to say I'm not an expert. I just think. How do you get there to be like, you know what? I don't give a shit what y'all got to say about it. I'm going to do me, and it's me, like it or love it.
I don't know if I'm there. I know that this year, my job is to get myself there.
Okay.
So even if that's like a little bit of like exposing myself and my joy and my pain and my ideas and my failures and my whatever, if it means like putting pieces of that out so that I see how people respond to that and then desensitize myself to it, that's what I might have to do. And that's kind of what my plan is. We're gonna see. Yeah, I don't think I'm there yet. I still very much care about what people think, and maybe not so much like there's kind of like this way that I think, especially being a musician, and especially like when you have a certain ear for something, you can see when people don't have that ear. You can feel it, you can see it, you can be like, oh, I'm gonna say just what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You can look at somebody and be like, that person can sing, but they have no idea how to harmonize. They have no idea what tone is. They have no idea what pitch is. Even if you don't know what those words are defined as, like you know what it is when you do it and you feel it. And so I guess I'm not worried about the people who don't know what it is. I always am like,
I already know where you're going. Keep going.
Look, I'm always like, do the people that I admire think this is dope?
Yeah.
And that's a cool place to be, but at the same time, you have to think about the people that you admire are either older than you or have a formula for what they do already. And if what you do doesn't fit into their formula, they may never like it, and it still may be dope.
Word.
So,
listen, it's part of walking in your genius, right? And it can be a detriment when you my favorite place to be sometimes, not all the time, sometimes is the studio. I don't like to be in the studio with musicians, artists, or anybody who look at me like I'm that nigga, right? Because then it's awkward. But I appreciate, like, if I'm in there with somebody I equally feel like is musically a genius or is a creative genius in some way, shape, or form, because then I feel challenged. Or I'm in that space where I'm like, okay, this collaboration is about to be crazy because I know they thinking way up here and I'm thinking way up here.
Right.
Right. So that's interesting. Creative to creative, I feel you there.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's not easy to walk in your genius when you are, I don't want to say intimidated, but I will say intimidated because you perceive somebody else to be so dope.
Yeah.
But then you start having conversations with them, you're like, oh, you deal with the same shit.
Yo, anytime somebody, and it's so weird to even say this because I don't see myself as like, not to say I don't see myself as anything special, but like I said, I don't see myself as anything novel.
Word.
And when people are like, oh my gosh, like, you're so dope, you're so, and I'll be like, I'm just a regular nigga. Like, I'm just a regular, my mom is probably gonna be like, why would you say that? But I'll be like, for real, I'm just a regular nigga. Who said that, Absol?
Yeah.
Just a regular nigga. I love that song. It's but so that's funny,
real.
Yeah.
That's real. Wow. Okay, so, because I could stay and talk about walking in your genius all day. Because again, you're somebody who I musically admire. Like, you are legit my favorite singer.
That's crazy.
Listen,
what's crazy? That's crazy.
When we did Smoke Break, I was like, yo, this girl is bananas. Right? And then other songs I hear you on, I'm like, yo. And again, you can tell when somebody, I'm thinking. So Chris Barnett is one of my favorite rappers in the world.
We have the same birthday also.
No doubt. You are a Leo. That's right. Oh, sheesh. I tease Chris about that all the time. But we was in the studio one day and his bars were syncopated to the drum pattern. Right? And I'm listening.
Dope.
You feel me? I'm checking for it. I'm like, bro, did you even realize what you were doing? He's like, no, what are you talking about? And in that moment, I was like, oh, sometimes when people walk in their genius, it's by accident. Like, you're just doing dope shit on accident.
Yeah. For real, I always think of people's genius or like whatever like thing you get into, it's a flow, right? Like, we call that feeling flow. But everybody has their own wavelength. So like, of course, like that's not novel, that's cliche, but truly, like, some people might, like, speaking about music, some people might be in between the drum pattern because it feels, it's like that's where you can fit in there. Somebody might be on top of it because you feel like you attack. Like, it's all about, like, just almost like losing yourself and falling in, like jumping in the water. And you just flow with it. So, yeah, I'm trying to find more flow.
Trying to find more flow.
Trying to find more flow.
You know, you can't find it. That's the challenging part.
I know.
It, like, pulls up on you. So my cousin Eric is an artist. He's one of the smartest people I know in the world. He's, like, super dope. And we were having an argument about flow state. And I was like, no, I gotta feel it. He's like, but how you gonna feel it if you're not in it? And we were talking about just getting in.
Yeah.
Once you start.
Yeah. No, that's
then you
real.
fall into it. Like, I joke a lot. I'm domesticated. I'll be at the crib.
What does that mean?
I'll be at the crib cooking, cleaning, folding laundry. And so in that, it's hard for me to jump into the flow state of, like, writing music. All my songs is about wifey and the kids. And I'm like, okay, I love them. It's great content. But I'm searching for something different. But then do I need to give anything different? Because this is where I'm at, right?
True.
It's weird. But you paint, you draw, you create not only artwork, but also coloring books to greeting cards,
Yes.
and you sing your ass off.
Yes. Most of what is there.
So, so how do you find that flow state or even that creative space? Like, do you sit down and just start, or is it when you feel it?
Mostly it's when I procrastinated too long and I just gotta get it done.
Okay.
That's usually when most things happen. Either that or, this is gonna sound horrible, when I'm procrastinating from doing something that actually needs to get done, which is bad. Sorry, Gabe. That's what be happening sometimes.
And Anthony, before he left, right? And for those that don't know, Anthony Joyner, the curator, the owner of Mulberry Art Gallery, works close with Paris. And he said, Sam, ask Paris about this piece of art that she's been working on. And he said, ask about the album, which I was going to anyway. But do you find, I don't like deadlines as creative.
I need them.
Okay.
I need them because I'm the kind of person that I know you know what it's like to be a perfectionist.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like they say the Mona Lisa took, I don't know if it's dry now or that it hasn't dried after all of these years, simply because when it was being painted, and I don't want to say the wrong artist because you can't be an artist and be like, anyway, but when it was being painted, the artist went back so many times and and he used oil, and oil takes a long time to dry, but the more you add layers to it, the longer it takes to dry. And a lot of times artists do that because there's always a piece for us that's never done. Like you can
100%.
look at it and be like, I could always add more to that, or I could change this, or I could remix that, or I could do this or do that. I'm that kind of artist where it's like, oh, now that I look at it, I could move this around and that around and this. And so unless somebody says, I need this by Friday at 5, I'm gonna be like, wow, I was working. Wow.
I was in there.
Yes. So I need deadlines. I love deadlines because it makes sure that it holds me accountable to do something about what I have in my head.
Ooh, maybe I need to work on deadlines because sometimes I won't even start because in my head I see the end. And I'm like, in the mix, in the moment, I'm like, it's not there. I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, but it's not where I want it to be yet.
Right.
But then I'll play a song for somebody who might not have that same ear. And they're like, oh, this is fire. And then I'm like, I don't know if you're telling me the truth.
Yeah. I don't really trust people when
I was about to ask,
I don't trust people.
In you're dope, because you're dope. Again, I gotta make sure that that's out there, because creative. And anytime I'm talking to creatives, I have to big them up because I get it. Like I'm talking to Brandon Johnson, politician, you do dope work. I don't necessarily get it. But when I'm talking to creatives, I get it, so it makes me excited. Do you, I don't even know where I was going because I'm thinking out loud. But do you find yourself around people, like you said, you can't trust, where you be like, you bullshitting me, I don't believe you telling me that's dope.
Man, sometimes I think I'm starting to believe it more now when people say, that's really good. Or like I had a conversation before Christmas, and someone was like, you don't see how good you are. And I was like, girl, don't do this right now. Don't do this to me. Don't do this. Don't, no. So I'm starting to believe it more so now because I've had a lot of those conversations. And so it's like, eventually you do have to be like, okay.
Word.
But when it comes to creating something, for whatever reason, especially with music, I can listen to it and be like, okay, I like that. I like that. I don't like that. Let's change this. Let's go back. Nope. Re-record this. Do it like that. It's something about that where if somebody's like, no, it's fine. I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
No, actually, we need to change this. We need to change that. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And not in a mean way, but thank you.
Now, on the flip of that, do you ever feel like when somebody tells you it's not on point, and you be like, nah, you bugging. You don't know what I know. Do you run into that?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad will be like, He's only been like to one song. He's like, oh, I think that's the best song you ever made, Pear. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Word.
But every other song, he'd be like, oh, okay, Pear. I think you could make that more up-tempo. You ain't got no more up-tempo songs? Why you got all these slow songs? I'd be like, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I haven't really encountered too many people being like, this isn't it. And maybe it's because I haven't shared a lot of music. I'm sure that might be what it is. I would not prefer, because nobody likes criticism, but I would love constructive criticism.
Feedback.
Yeah, I would love feedback, and I don't have that many people that are gonna give me very honest feedback, except for maybe like 2 people. Like my friend Corey, the one I was talking about that I wrote songs with it when I was in Austin. Corey would be like, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's tough. My kids are my biggest critics. Like,
really?
I know if I'm producing, writing a song, I know it's a banger if they come in and like, what you doing? And I trust them if they like, nah, Dad, that ain't it. That ain't it.
I feel that.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to
Yes.
jump back. So you left Jackson State.
Florida State.
Florida State, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, you're
Florida
good.
State. Is that the only school you were at?
No.
I feel like you were somewhere else as well.
Yep.
Langston?
Nope.
Nope.
Prairie View A&M University.
Oh, you thugged that
down
up. You
in
thugged that
Texas.
up. Okay.
Love that place.
Word, and this is after Florida State.
No, this is before. So I have a degree in psychology
Okay.
that I got in 2016 from Prairie View A&M University. And then I went directly to grad school at Florida State University to get
Gotcha.
a master's in art therapy, which is still pending. I have not gotten it to this day. To this day.
That's what I wanted to this day. That's what I really wanted to ask, right? How hard was that conversation, especially recognizing the expectations you talked about, right? You finish, you jumping into grad school, like I'm sure the folks cheering you on, sharing stories.
Yeah.
You know, moms get to like, yeah, my baby doing this. How hard? Pops excited, I'm sure.
Oh, no, my dad was the only person who was like, Pear, I don't think you need to go down to Florida.
Okay.
I was like, huh? He was like, nah, I don't think you need to go
Word.
down there. But I think it's because both of my, well, let me be strategic. I know for sure both my parents have not pursued a master's before. So I was the first of my immediate family to do that. I have an aunt who has a master's degree. And man, yeah. Now I have some family who have gone into higher education, but not my parents.
Okay.
So my mom, of course, she was like, my daughter, you can go on to be a doctor, do that. My dad was like, I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it was tough. It was tough because for me, it felt like, okay, I'm on the right track. Like, this is not a bad path. This is not like, it's not like I'm out doing something crazy. Like I don't have a job. Like I'm in school doing a master's full time. So in art therapy, what I was doing was I was working with teenagers and middle schoolers.
Okay.
And so I was doing practicum, like I was doing therapy with kids.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't in class or writing papers, I was doing therapy and sleeping. Like it was very involved. And actually, how deep do I want to get?
Let's get deep. We got room to swim.
Sure, we'll get deep. I actually started to become severely depressed when I was in grad school. Like one of our professors, and I love her to this day. She had us journal every week. So when we would come into class, we had her class once a week. Yeah, on Mondays, once a week. And we would journal and do like, instead of like writing, it would be like a visual journal. So like we would have a prompt to draw something and then to write something about it. Whether it was like do a family tree, a family diagram, because it was trying to help us see what kind of work we could do with others, but also do the work within ourselves and see what things we were up against before we go out and just do therapy and use art to do that. Because art it's a channel.
100%.
It's a way to channel emotion, expression, thought, idea And if you're exposing somebody to that and you don't know how to use that in a proper way, you could be opening them up to a channel that reveals a lot of trauma that they don't know how to put back in, or they don't know how to sort through. So you got to sort through your own. And doing that was opening up a lot. Number one. And then number two, I'd gone to a HBCU, which before I went to the HBCU, I was in the IB program at East with a bunch of white kids. And so when I first got to PV, I was like, I don't think anybody's gonna like me. Because I hadn't been used to being around, like being in classes with black kids. And then went to PV, found myself, I felt like, and then went right back into a predominantly white environment, like a lot, like this is wow. So it was a culture shock, and I felt like this wasn't my path, but I had to do it anyway. Because I already started, like I gotta finish. Anyway, I digressed. But we did this journal, and one of my journal entries was me, like, she was like, draw the last thing you see before you go to sleep or something like that. And I drawn my TV and like the red light on my TV, like the little red light when you turn it off. And I wrote in there and I was like, I struggle to go to sleep at night because like I've been having really bad dreams. Like I was depressed to the point where it was like I was having really, really, really scary nightmares that I won't get into. And like I'd come into class just looking like I hadn't slept in days because I hadn't. And she was like, I need you to go to the counseling center on campus. She's like, I'm going to check in with you next week to make sure that you did. And talking with her and another one of my advisors, they were like, if you don't have a passion for this will be here. Like if you leave grad school, you still have 5 years to decide you want to come back. And if you are not in a place where you can do that, then don't stay. And that was the best advice I ever got. One of my roommates there, love her. She was like, I told her, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna stay. She was like, you gonna stay, to quit playing, like you gonna be here next semester. And I literally packed my stuff in my old Corolla. We love you, Carol. My car, Carol. Packed my stuff up in my car, Carol, and I left the next day. You was out of there. Like the next, and it was like, it was probably very rash. Cause I know she was probably like, so you just, I left. I left, hadn't even, like I broke my lease, didn't even talk to the people at least in the office, I just left. And I didn't want to come back to Wichita. Because I was like, there's no, like my mom was so excited for me to go to FSU and like it seemed like this was the right thing for me to do. So, how do you manage that, right? So you that's layered for one. I know you said you don't want to get into it, so let me know when I'm going too deep. But so you psychology major, working on art therapy, practicing what you preach as you dig into yourself to find out more about yourself and address I don't want to say demons, address your own challenges, things that are making you depressed. The best advice you got was to bounce. But you don't want to go home. So that's compounded, right? Yep. How did you climb out? I made a lot more rash decisions. Okay. Two steps. You know, we just kept going in the... It's kind of like, what's the game? Mario Kart? You know when you're going the wrong way and the little dude on the cloud is like, wrong way, wrong way. And you're trying to like, everybody else is like just zooming and you're like getting spun around. I was just spinning. I was just spinning. So I was like, well, whatever direction I go after I stop spinning, we just gonna go there. So I came back to Wichita for like 2 weeks and then I talked to some of my cousins in Texas. They were like, you can move to Austin with us. And I was like, bet, I'll be there next week. So I put myself back in my car and drove down to Austin, Texas in a poor way because my mother did not know until the day before. My dad didn't know until I got to Texas. He was like, "Hey, Pear, how you doing? Where you at?" I said, "I'm in Austin, Texas." He said, "What?"
Wow.
He was like, "What you doing down there?" I was like, "Oh, I'm about to stay with Leisha and them."
Wow.
Yeah. So went down there because in my mind I was like, I want to do something with music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can do that in Wichita. Don't want to be in Wichita. Like when I left and went to college, Prairie View, I was like, I'd never come back to Wichita.
Yeah.
Joke's on me.
Did you feel like a failure when you came back? Personally, not. I'm sure everybody else's thoughts maybe been on that, but did you feel like, yo, I did not?
You know, I never felt like a failure coming back to Wichita simply because I don't think I'm gonna stay here forever.
Okay.
So like a part of me is just like, okay, I'm just building what I'm building until I leave.
Yeah.
So when I came back, no, I was just like, okay, what's the next move? Because we not staying here.
Yeah.
So it was more of just like, hey, I'm just visiting. It's so good to, well, I haven't seen you in like 3 years. And then being like, okay, what's my next move? So went to Austin. I lived in Austin for almost a year. But that, look, depression is not like you just have to go to therapy and you just have to talk about your feelings, do some self-care, take a bubble bath, and you'll be not depressed. Like, it's not like that. Like, depression for real is like a habit. I don't think anybody thinks of it that way. Depression is a habit because not one day, but gradually you start to feel down. And eventually you start expressing that you feel down. And like some days you may wake up and choose to do something that makes you not feel as bad. But eventually you find yourself, just like if you're working a job, you wake up and you choose to go to work every day. You don't have to. But it's such a routine that it's not a question anymore.
Yeah.
That's what depression is like. That feeling, that low feeling is not a question anymore. It's just a thing that is.
It's normal.
Right. It's just a thing that is. So you wake up and you be like, okay, I don't really want to be here today, but like we here. So let's make some jokes and like get through it.
Yeah.
And so that was still on me when I went to Austin. So even though I wanted to make music so bad, I wanted to, at that time I was doing a lot of art. Like I've always been doing commission artwork. Like I paint graduation caps. That's how I started. Like selling art to people, selling art or doing like work. In college, that was a side hustle. I had like 3 sides. I did people's eyebrows. I did people's hair. I don't know why people were letting me do their hair. That was a bad idea. I don't know what I'm doing. I was doing people's hair. I was a writing tutor, a math tutor, and I did graduation caps.
Word.
I was doing all that because I was like, I gotta look. We're gonna give me some shoes, some books. But yeah, so I was still doing art, but I couldn't make music to save my life. And all I was doing was working when I was there, and my family that was there, I loved them to death because they would like. Specifically, shout out to my cousin Dante, shout out to my cousin Leisha, shout out to my cousin Corey, young Lene, all we just gonna shout out everybody.
Yeah.
But they were for real very present with me, and they knew what it was.
So you had a support system that was aware of what you were doing. Okay.
They would be sitting at that time in my life. I was a vegetarian. They would be sitting around eating church's chicken. Or whatever they made for Sunday dinner while I ate like salad or like taco cabana or something. And they would always laugh about that, but it really helped quite a bit to be around a support system. Even if you don't feel like you can presently be a part of it, you don't realize how much it rubs off. But yeah, stayed there for a year, then came back to Wichita. That was like a long story.
I think that's a good story.
So we can edit it if we need to.
No, I'm sure somebody can gain something from that, right? Because depression is so real. Like I am a major mental health advocate. I hate the stigma that our community has on mental health, right? And addressing the challenges we deal with, right? I was sharing with Gabe even, share with not a lot of people, but I'll share with the world even, right? Holidays are a struggle for me, right? And from a seasonal depression standpoint, but also like grief, right? And so my uncle passed on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. I'm sorry, my grandmother passed on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Went through planning her funeral with my uncle. Then my uncle passed 30 days after.
Man.
Right? So from Thanksgiving to like New Year, just this past year, I was like, I feel so fucking down. Like it wasn't resonating. Why?
Yeah.
Until I woke up yesterday and I was feeling good and I was like, oh,
it's over.
Oh,
the sun's
this is
out.
why I felt like that, right? Like,
yeah.
And that's a real thing. And so I appreciate you even sharing your story because again, people can learn from that.
I hope so, cause I ain't trying to go through all this for that.
for nothing, right?
Nothing.
There's got to be something on the other end.
Yeah.
But you know what's even wild is, you know, I know a lot of artists use their creative outlets, right, to channel that depression. And I know at the top you were talking about how you don't want to sound somber or feel like you're sad, but that is a real feeling.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned the J. Cole song, Love Yours, and how much you hated that you loved that song, why you loved it, but it did something for you. And I know your music does that for people.
I hope so, my
Right.
little, yeah.
You feel me?
Let me not say my little, cause it's
Come on,
dope.
don't shrink your shit.
It's dope.
You feel me? It's really dope. Let's go back to main character.
Let's do
2023, you the main character in the
Yes.
Paris James story. What's that look like for you?
That means, okay, here's the plan.
Talk to us.
So what I would like to do is, number one, revamp my own podcast, which focuses on telling the stories of people from Wichita. Honestly, that podcast is called Beyond Wichita.
Talk about
I'm
it.
gonna look into the camera. It's called Beyond Wichita, and you can find it on all the places you get your podcasts. But it's stories about people either from Wichita or who live in Wichita, about why they moved to Wichita, why they choose to stay in Wichita, or why they left.
Okay.
And I came up with that concept when I was living in Austin, actually, because I was working at this place, and in bigger cities, they be converting people's houses into like workspaces. So we was low key like working in a garage, like a converted garage with a bunch of computers. And I was like, bro, I don't know none of these people who work around me. And I sit with these people most of my day.
Yeah.
And I don't know these people. And I was like, I would love to get to know the people around me and like what fuels their life, or what they love, what they hate, what they want, what they actually want to do with their lives. And when I came back to Wichita, it kind of was like re-sparked, because it was like, that's that way that I felt at that job is how I feel in the city. We live in a way where like we move around everybody all the time, but we don't know, like we don't know our neighbors. We don't know what fuels the people in the city. We just kind of like go to work, go to school, go to eat, go home. Or go to church on Sunday if you do that. Go eat and then go home. And I'm noticing a lot of bigger cities, they give outlets to express who you are and what you like and what you love. And it doesn't have to make you money. You can just do it because you love it. Or if it does make you money, there are places for you to show that. And so I kind of wanted to develop an outlet for that in podcast form, sonically. So that's what Beyond Wichita is for me. Want to revamp that, and I want this upcoming season to be about boomerangs, or people who left Wichita and came back. Specifically, I would love to get those stories. So if y'all got a story, you know, my email address is beyondourcity@gmail.com. That's beyondourcity@gmail.com.
Wow.
So much promo. Yeah.
Listen,
But
we're here for it.
No, that's what I have to, that's a part of me being a main character, is shamelessly promoting the things that I believe in for myself. Because I've struggled so long to believe in myself in anything that I do, and to wonder like, why would anybody care? And now I have to think like, no, we'll just do it. So that's, prayerfully, Jesus, do what you gonna do. I would love to put out an album called 208. And I don't know if I was gonna say, I don't know if the camera can, you can't see this. Y'all can't see this little. It's okay.
The tattoo says 208.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
in analog form. 208 is a number that I have been seeing since I was in high school. And it always pops up when I'm making an important decision for my life, either an important decision or a moment where I need to recognize my own worth and purpose.
Word.
So like when I was in Florida, I would literally be like, oh, I need to go get some gas. Gas would be $2.08. Or I'd be like walking to class and a meter on the like street that I'd never seen or whatever will be meter number 208. Like literally, I kid you not, I was getting on the airplane yesterday to come home, and I don't know if y'all can do magic and add this in later if y'all want to. But I was literally, where is it at? Getting on the plane and somebody's hat.
Wow.
Yeah, and stuff will just, I have a million pictures like that in my phone. Stuff will just pop up. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna follow it down. We're gonna follow it down, see what it is.
It's dope. Off camera, we was talking about age. And,
Oh, I'm 28.
and you 28.
Oh my gosh.
Remove this.
Anyway,
That's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah,
That's divine.
it is. That's cute.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. What else? Give me one more thing that puts you as the main character in your story.
That puts me as the main character in my story.
Come on. I know you got something.
There's like 2 or 3 things. I think that unless God sends me a person to just like be with, I'm gonna take this time and just. I focused a long time in my life on being in a relationship with somebody or providing a good relationship experience for the person that I was with. Like my first relationship, high school, I was with somebody from freshman year till senior year.
Okay.
And then I got to college and found somebody I liked at the end of freshman year, stayed with them until junior year. And then got another relationship junior year that didn't end until I was in grad school.
Word.
So like a lot of time has been spent on defining myself by the terms of somebody else that I care about, that I love.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take time for me, post more on social media,
Okay.
and do like, you know, the things you wanted to do when you were a kid that you never got a chance to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm gonna invest in trying to do it. Like I've always wanted to do gymnastics, or at the very least learn how to do a backflip.
Word.
So like I'm gonna learn how to do a backflip this year.
Come on. I'm here for
on concrete.
And 28 is such a great age. Like people, as you get closer to 30, right? People like, I can't think of the word I want to use, but they loathe the thought of being 30.
Yeah, me too.
The beautiful thing about being 30, right? So you talking this is your year of you, right? Once you hit 30, for the most part, if you've done the work, you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what you're here for. You may still be figuring out the world around you, but you finally landed on who you are on the inside and who you want to be. And so it's dope to hear the work you're putting in at 28, that you have the plan to, the goal to, the mission to, the vision,
yeah.
right? And you're going to get it done. So that's really dope to hear, because I remember like 28 was one of my golden years.
That's beautiful.
It was the shit. And then, I mean, afterwards, life hit me in different ways, right?
Yeah.
But I recognize who I am, what I want, what I stand for, the people I want to be around me. So I'm excited for this year for you.
Thank you.
For sure.
I am too.
I got to ask you a couple more questions, then I'll let you
Yes.
get about your life. But I got a staple of questions that I ask everybody, right? So even though it's interesting because it's almost full circle. Because you quit, dropped out, abandoned, found a different path from, right, what you were looking to get your master's in with art therapy, but you're now a curator of art.
Yes.
Right? You create amazing coloring books, amazing artwork, right? What affirmed to you that you were on the right path?
What affirmed to me that I was on the right path? This is irresponsible.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that bad. I know people don't be doing their work at work, but I don't do my work when I'm at work. If I'm working a job that doesn't have to do with art, I'm usually doing art. So like, and I've been blessed in the way that like for example, when I was in Austin, Texas, the garage that I worked in, it was a company called Media Science, and I would come in there with graduation caps and glitter and literally a cup of water and paint. And I was in the computer, and what I would be doing was like listening to podcasts and painting these graduation caps. And the people that like work with me, my managers would be like, "Oh, what are you working on today?" They wouldn't be like, "Hey, you're supposed to be getting this data." No, I got to send this off tomorrow. So like, we're going to get to that data later. That, and even at the museum, so I used to work as the curator at the Kansas African American Museum. And I would be in there working on graduation caps. They wasn't like, "Go do those caps." I was like, I was just working on the next exhibition. So sorry. But I think what affirmed it for me was when the people around me were encouraging me. So even like at the museum, my colleagues that I work with there, my family, my friends, a lot of different people were like you need to, you be drawing, you be like, you need to do something with this. Like I would pay, I think one day, man, I feel like I'm name dropping. I don't even like that.
It's your world. It's your world. That's giving props to folks. That's all it is.
Miss Carla Eccles from KMUW came into the museum, and we did an exhibition where I had done an open call for women of color to submit artwork that they had done for Women's History Month. And I had a couple of my own pieces in there, and she was like, "Are you selling this piece?" And she was like, "How much are you selling this for?" And I was like, I said some low number. And she was like, "I think you should be selling that for more, but like, I want that piece. Like, I want that. That's really good." That, and then, so stuff like that. And then when I started doing my greeting cards.
There we go. Okay. Word.
And I only, like, it feels like I've been doing them for eons. I only put out the call for that last year. It's going to be 2 years now, like next week.
Wow.
I did that 2021, at the top of 2021.
Because I got one for Valentine's Day, me and wifey.
Yep. Y'all were one of the first people that ordered some. And I was like, I'm gonna get like 5 people that'll probably want, a card. And I'm like, and I'm charging like $25. I'm sorry, y'all, the price is going up because I gotta pay for my gas.
It's not today's price.
And it'd be taking a long time. Like, y'all don't realize. But anyway, I was like, I'm asking for $25 for a greeting card. I'll probably get 5 people. I got like 20 people. I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do this. I need to come up with a business plan. And after that, after Valentine's Day, people were like, I need a card. People from outside of Wichita in a month, literally from February, I think by March or April, somebody from California had asked. Somebody from North Carolina had asked for a card. Some people from Florida. It was like,
it's growing. It's bigger than you.
Yeah, it's like, how do y'all even know me? Like, I only posted this once. How do y'all know this? So after that, I was like, let me dig into that. And honestly, I'm trying to get to that with music, because that's been the hardest space for me to get in that kind of flow and that kind of like, I don't really care. Like, I don't care what you say. I'm dope, nigga. Like,
listen, for real. I think in music it's tough because it's like oversaturated. And I won't get into that because that's a whole nother conversation of the oversaturation of shit that's out there.
Yeah.
But then it's a challenge because now people can find what they want to find. You don't have to be a victim of radio programming. You can find your own shit.
Exactly.
Last question I got for you, T.
Okay.
So, 28, 10 years ago, what would you have told, what would you tell yourself if you had a mirror or a magic whatever, and you could be like, yo, listen.
Baby girl.
Right?
Baby girl. I'd be like, oh, little Paris, you don't even know. First off, just get to know. I don't even like that phrase. People be telling me that now. Just take the time to get to know you. How about you get to know yourself? Shut up. Nah, but for real, I'd be like, everything, every idea, the smallest ideas that you have, try them.
Word.
Try them. Try them. Because I know myself now, but back then I was so much more resourceful. I knew how to make something out of nothing. Like, me and my sister used to have like little Barbie dolls, and we didn't have no extra Barbie doll clothes. So we would take our old shirts that we didn't want and like literally cut the arm off the elastic part and then like make it into tube top dresses. And I knew how to sew, so I'd be like, we're gonna sew some sleeves, some straps. I was resourceful as a child, and as an 18-year-old, I was so much more so. And so I would have just told myself, relax, try all the ideas. And at 18, I thought I was too old to try. Like, I thought it was irresponsible, and I thought I was too old to try singing. And I would have been like, sing everywhere. Do that talent show that you was scared to do your freshman year at PV. Do it.
Word.
Like, sing everywhere. Sing all the time. Don't stop. Like, don't ever stop singing. Like, always sing. Don't let anybody tell you that's a stupid dream. Like, do that. I would tell her that. And then I would tell her, don't be afraid of money. Don't be afraid of money.
That's
it's a tool.
bar.
It's a tool.
That's a bar.
Don't be afraid of money.
Ooh.
Don't be afraid to spend money. Don't be afraid to make money. Don't be afraid to lose money.
Yeah.
Because it'll come back. You'll be okay.
I love it. I love it. Listen, reflection is major. It's the top of 2023, right? And I'm hopeful that you don't lose your humility and your humbleness, but that you talk your shit this year.
Yeah.
Right? And that you be the best you on every level that you can be that. And I appreciate you sharing your journey and your story with me.
Yes.
Like,
well,
it's
thank you
really
for
dope.
giving me the space.
100%.
And providing the space for many people. Because stories are important. I heard this saying that said, those who tell stories rule the world. That's how history is written and made. History is only made by those who write it.
Ooh, that's a bar.
So, thanks for making the space.
100%. Oh, you the best. You the best. Listen, let the folks know where they could find you. You done gave some shout outs already, but make sure they know where they could find you.
Okay. The easiest way to find me, because there's like 3 channels. The Paris Jane on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm gonna be TikToker, maybe. We gonna see. Who knows? And all the other places, The Paris Jane. If you want to find my artwork, you can find me at Paris Jane Creates. And both of those are at theparisjane.com. You might as well just get a piece of paper. It's a lot. And then the last channel, be on the lookout for Beyond Wichita Season 2.
Word.
And if I slack up, Gabriel, just be like, you lie. But you can find that on social media and on the web at Beyond. Oh my Lord, it's Beyond Our City. Beyond Our City on Instagram, beyondourcity.com on the web.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Greeting cards.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. So my greeting cards and my coloring books and everything else that's to come this year is on my website, theparisjane.com/ParisJaneCreates. You can also, let me not say that. I will say it though. If you have ideas, if you have a commission that you want me to do, you can DM me at Paris Jane Creates on Instagram, and I will get back with you in 2 to 3 business days.
I love it. I love it. Well, P, it was a pleasure.
Yes,
I appreciate
for
you to the max.
sure.
Oh, you can hear Paris on my album, Sound Advice.
You
Smoke
know,
Break.
yes, and you can hear me on my project, Make Believe, on all the streaming platforms.
Boom.
Yes.
Listen, it's been a great conversation. Great time. Stay being dope. Y'all stay being dope. Peace, big love, biggest living,
Yes.
and everything that comes with it. Holla at your boy.
When it's time to find you, let's just put a line of credits.
Right.
Let it go.
3 logos,
We
4
definitely gonna have to put
handles. Oh my.
I got a lot of living to do before I die. I ain't got time to waste. Time don't wait. Everything costs. Time been money. I don't fool with homie. Slime been funny. I don't do no jokes unless I'm the one telling them. Y'all nasty like 69. Y'all boys telling. Stay away from goofies. This is not a movie. Avoiding loopholes from U-Haul, you don't move me.